As we all know, looking for a job can be very stressful. Would you like to know how to minimize your depression while you're looking for work? If so, stay tuned. Hello, my name is Douglas Bloch. I'm an author and depression survivor. Welcome to your Depression Recovery channel, where each week we talk about practical tools and coping strategies for healing from depression and anxiety. The title of today's video is How to Deal with Job Search Depression. Before we get started, of course, we have to tell our joke. And many years ago, when I first moved to Portland, I was starting my career as a writer, needed some supplemental income, so I took a job as a salesman. In one of the trainings, I met a guy who was a mushroom salesman. You know, he turned out to be a fun guy. Anyway, I do live chats, as you know, every Sunday at noon, and I get lots of comments on this channel. Thank you, loyal listeners, or watchers, viewers, for giving your feedback. And I run into many people who are trying to get back into the workforce after months, sometimes even years of being absent, because, as you know, when the depression and anxiety get too high, you can't really function at work or focus. So people take time off. They want to get back into the job market, but it's very stressful. And I was thinking about how to support them, and I just stumbled upon an article in the New York Times called How to Deal with Job Search Depression, how appropriate that was. And now that I have mentioned it to you, I'd like to share the information from the article to help you out. The subtitle of this article reads, "So much of who you are is wrapped up in your work, but you are more than your job." I'm going to read that again because it's an important point we're going to cover later. So much of who you are is wrapped up in your work, but you are more than your job. So the article begins with, what happens when a person is looking for work and has zero luck finding any work? Well, conventional wisdom is that it would be demoralizing after a while, and it turns out conventional wisdom is correct. Research shows that if a person is looking for a job and after 10 to 12 weeks he's still not finding any, aside from the financial stress that it produces, rates of depression steadily increase. Unfortunately, if you let your emotional health and well-being depend on whether you're employed or not, this can create a negative feedback loop. The longer you go without work, the harder it is on your emotional health. But the harder it is on emotional health, the more difficult it is to find work. So negative feedback loop, you're discouraged, you feel lousy. Because you're lousy, if you feel lousy, you can't find work, and so on. It goes over and over again. How do we deal with this kind of adversity while you're looking for a job and fighting off depression at the same time? Well, the key is to find new coping tools and strategies, as we talk about on this channel. And the first strategy is related to the subtitle of this article, You Are Not Your Job. So while many people identify themselves with their work, of course, work is a huge part of our identity, that's not who you are. You're a diverse personality with many types of experiences, interests, and values. So, for example, you might be a parent, or you might be in a partnership, or you might be an artist, have an interesting hobby, you might work at a homeless shelter, do volunteer work. You're a multifaceted person. And as the saying goes, you're a human being, not a human doing. Another thing you can do is treat your job search as a kind of a job in it of itself. For example, you can create structure and set goals for yourself. You might want to say, okay, I'm going to send out 2 cover letters a day, or make 2 calls a day. And then you can, give yourself a pat on the back when you do that. Or you can create goals that are unrelated to the job search, like going to the gym 3 times a week, or going out with a friend once or twice a week. These small wins will build on themselves and create self-esteem. So even if you're not finding work, you still can feel okay about yourself. In addition, you don't have to do this all by yourself. It turns out that every state in the U.S. has something called a vocational rehabilitation agency associated with it. And the goal of this agency is to help people with disabilities with their employment desires, their employment needs. And they offer, well, what they basically do is help people with disabilities to either, prepare for, get, keep, or regain employment. And they do this by providing a number of really cool services, and here are some of them. Vocational counseling and guidance, job placement assistance, skills training, job coaching or tutoring, transportation, and support, advocacy, and follow-up services for at least 90 days following job placement. Finally, while you are looking for a job, no matter how long it takes, it's really important to practice good self-care. Number one is staying connected to others because that combats the isolation that so many job seekers face. It's also the number two, a pillar of my 3 pillars of mental health recovery, connecting with others. Now you say, how can I do this? Well, when you're not working, you got a lot more time on your hands, right? So have more time to spend with friends and family. Maybe take a trip to the coast if we're in Portland, one of them. And you also can go ahead and do other activities that you like taking a walk in nature, going to the gym, focusing on eating a healthy diet. It's wonderful to have free time to take care of yourself. Of course, you also need to pay the bills, so you need to get back to work at some point. And if you are rehired at an old job, because many people who come to my groups are people who are working, they come down with depression, anxiety, and they get what's called a leave of absence. So if you're one of those people and you return to your old job and you know the managers, ask to start really slowly, maybe going part-time initially, because going from no hours a week to 40 hours a week is like going from 0 to 60 in 1 second. It's very, very stressful. So see if you can ease your way back into work. That would be really helpful in terms of making a successful transition. This has been Douglas Bloch. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you learned something from it. If you did like it, please give it a like. And if you have any questions, you can leave them in the comments section or email me, douglasbloch@gmail.com. If you'd like to subscribe to this channel, when my photo comes up at the end, click on it. You'll be taken to my subscribe page. If you click on the subscribe button, you'll be subscribed. And if you click on the bell to the upper right, you'll be notified every time I come up with a new video or a new live chat. And finally, if you'd like to become a patron of this channel for as little as $2 a month, contribute to it on a monthly basis like you would your favorite charity and help us to make these videos, please click on the Patreon image and you'll be taken right to that webpage. And until we meet again, I wish you not only the best in your mental health recovery, but the best in looking for and finding enjoyable work. Thank you for watching.